everyone, this is Speaker Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you. I'm going to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. It says its box office performance on its first 5 days of release and what its success means going forward, not only for the franchise but also for movies going forward within the year 2025. Now, as we all know, Jurassic World Rebirth was overall the 4th entry in the Jurassic World series, which started way back in 2015. And that movie went on to become the highest grossing of that particular year. This is coming off the recent entry Jurassic World Dominion in 2022, which also was a massive success during its release. Overall, it's the 7th installment in the Jurassic Park franchise, started with the first and clearly still the best entry back in 1993. So when we talk about this latest entry, we go to its release date, which was back on the 2nd of July 2025. And over the 5-day period, especially when we covered the first official weekend, we look at its performance first in the US markets, where it smashed an incredible $147 million opening, easily claiming the top spot, dethroning the last weekend's champion F1. We then look at the international numbers when it managed to gross $171 million for a total amount of around $318 million worldwide. So obviously this is a great result and Universal are very happy, and this is continuing the ongoing success of the recent Jurassic World movies, as I've mentioned before. So what do these numbers mean going forward? Well, first of all, it's clearly for all to see that Jurassic Park Rebirth is going to end up being one of the highest grossing movies of the year, and this is something that I predicted when I did my breakdown previewing what would be the biggest films of this year. I stated that Jurassic Park Rebirth, whilst may not be the overall highest grossing movie, I still believe that distinction will go towards Avatar Fire and Ash, which will release later on in December. But I always felt that Jurassic Park would end up being one of the biggest, and this is in keeping with the rest of the movies that for the most part have gone on to be the highest grossing films of the entire year that they are released. And there's something to be said really about the franchise in general, that despite the ups and downs, certainly in terms of its quality, for me personally, I've never been impressed by any of the recent Jurassic World installments. Certainly the last two, Fallen Kingdom and both Dominion, were amongst the worst within the entire franchise. But when it comes to it, it seems that Jurassic Park is certainly one of the most critic-proof franchises. It seems it doesn't matter whether the reviews or the quality of the film is good or bad, they can seemingly chop and change the cast of actors around, and it has no downturn in terms of the overall movie success. So we look at the reasons for this, especially when we look at other genres, in particular the superhero genre, which is experiencing a clear sense of fatigue and decline, but somehow Jurassic Park still manages to sustain itself many years after the first film's release. And I think one of the biggest reasons for this is the fact that the concept itself, basically humans running away from big massive dinosaurs, all looking very impressive in CGI rendering, is something that has a very broad appeal both to adults and in particular children. These are movies that are for the most part not heavy-handed or complicated in terms of their plots or their storyline, and even if there are more detailed layers in terms of the story, at the end of the day all people want to see is human characters running away from big dinosaurs, providing plenty of spectacle, danger and peril. So if a Jurassic Park or a Jurassic World movie can successfully deliver on that premise, then 9 times out of 10 it's going to succeed. And this is typical very much of the summer blockbuster that audiences want to see. They want to be able to go to these films and not have too much demanded upon them, whether it's social or political commentary or huge convoluted universal links, as what we've seen recently with the MCU films. They just want something that they can jump in and enjoy, that's something that doesn't require any heavy amount of knowledge of the previous installments or any detailed homework. They can just sit there, chomp on their popcorn and just be thrilled for a couple of hours. And this is what the Jurassic World movies are certainly delivering, and this is really why they continue to be successful. Now, yes, we can say certainly the likes of the MCU series or the Fast and Furious films, or to a lesser extent the John Wick movies. These are amongst also the most successful franchises of recent times. But nearly all of those films, they do involve some sort of universal connection or some sort of reference or knowledge to previous installments, and that can sometimes be very draining for audiences in general. Now, in terms of Jurassic World Rebirth, there's much commentary on the fact that it has not gained a lot of very favourable reviews, but as I said before, the general audience doesn't really care about that, and I think again it does make a certain statement in a certain disparity between the online traction and discussion and the more general mainstream audience. Now, yes, we can go deep into certainly the much debates online about the quality of films and in terms of the movie's budgeting and costs and marketing, but when we look at Jurassic World, it's a reminder that the general mainstream audience doesn't care about any of that. All of the heavy discussions and debates is not really important to them. They just want to be entertained. And sometimes I think a lot of these big budget movies, they lose sight of that. Now, admittedly, I haven't seen the film yet myself, so in no way I'm saying that a film has to be bare barrel in terms of plot and story. We should always strive for these big summer blockbusters to have a sense of quality in terms of their plot and storytelling to go alongside the more action and spectacle. That's something that we should always aspire to, and that's something that was very much achieved in certainly the 1980s and to a degree the 1990s also. And at the end of the day, we always know that these type of movies are not going to be amongst the best ever. Any award recognition will solely go to the editing and obviously the cinematography or indeed the special effects, and overall I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, I have seen some commentary regarding the film's lead star Scarlett Johansson and how this movie has made her top of the list in terms of the highest grossing actor in history. Now, if you've watched my channel, you know how much I love Scarlett Johansson for obvious reasons because of her looks, but I also do think she is a strong actress when she picks the right role. But I think we do also need to be fair here that despite her top in this supposed list, it really is a case of the actor being part of a successful franchise rather than the actor driving the franchise itself. Look perhaps what we see with the likes of Tom Cruise with the Mission Impossible movies or Keanu Reeves with the John Wick films. And no doubt about it, Scarlett Johansson has been part now of some of the most successful franchises, whether it be now Jurassic World or indeed most notably the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So any actor involved in the MCU is always going to be high upon this list, whether it's the likes of Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans or Chris Hemsworth. Now, at the same time, we can also establish that Scarlett Johansson has had a substantial movie career. Certainly in her earlier roles, she gained a lot of recognition for the likes of, let's say, Emily or Vicky Cristina Barcelona or Lost in Translation. And it was, of course, the role as Natasha Romanoff in Black Widow that really transformed her more to mainstream box office success. And I think overall it is good that you have lead actresses such as Scarlett Johansson or, let's say, Margot Robbie. Angelina Jolie continues to be prolific. And that's good to see. It's good to see that an actress like Scarlett Johansson, who still looks stunningly beautiful in her 40th year, looks nowhere near it, really be at the forefront, and hopefully the success of this movie will gain her more future lead roles in big budget blockbusters, as we see her recently trying her hand also in her first directorial debut as well. So all in all then, good news for both Scarlett Johansson and Universal and the Jurassic Park franchise going forward. So we asked the ultimate question then, will this film go on to make $1 billion? I ultimately think that it will. We won't know more until we see the second weekend, and that will be of course of huge interest, especially within the online communities, because the next weekend features of course James Gunn's Superman 2025 project. How big of a bite will that take away from Jurassic World Rebirth? I'm not too sure. It will obviously fall to second place, but this seems to have pleased most the mainstream audiences, so we'll probably only see about a drop of around 55% in its second weekend. And this is a movie I believe again will perform far more better worldwide than what it will within US markets. At worst, it may finish just short of the $1 billion mark, maybe hitting around 950 to 975. We've seen that similar performance of the likes of both Minecraft and Lilo and Stitch this year. But despite that, Jurassic World Rebirth will no doubt about it end up being one of the biggest hits within 2025. So there's my thoughts and feelings when assessing the box office performance of Jurassic World Rebirth. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any other further movies, television series, or any other topics within the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover within the future, then let me know within the comments and I'll see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.